Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, proud to be the world's #1 community for brilliant childcare leaders. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Elif Childcare Insurance. Give Blake a call at 972-232-2258 to get a free quote on childcare business insurance today. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to episode 50. To have you back. You were gone last week podcast, but so glad to have you back, even though I like doing the podcast with Cindy. Good to have you back. But before we get started, I want to talk about a webinar you and I are doing on August 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're doing a webinar called Wealth Roadmap, the top 10 financial strategies of childcare multimillionaires. We're going to give you the top 10 things childcare multimillionaires do from a financial perspective to get where they are today. And if you do these action items, I'm telling you, your whole financial picture is going to change. No matter where you are in your business, we're going to give you those 10 steps. So to register, just go to childcaregenius.com. And up at the top, it'll say register for the webinar. It's free to attend. We'd love to have you. Again, the top 10 financial strategies of childcare multimillionaires, free webinar from Childcare Genius. Carol and I are going to be doing that together on August 8th. So our guest today on the podcast is one of my favorite coaching clients. Of course, they're all my favorites. But April Bender is an amazing owner. She's been doing this 17 years in Fremont, Nebraska. Our first time having somebody on the podcast from Nebraska. And she's doing a really good job. Her business is on fire. She has some great expansion goals and diversification too. Her and I working together and helping her with real estate diversification. And I tell you, you're going to love this episode.
Let's get April on the line.
Hi, April. Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you.
We are so excited to have you on. I've never, ever had anybody from Nebraska on my podcast before. So you're the first.
Well, it is a privilege and an honor to be here. And I'm glad that I can hold that title of the first person from Nebraska on the podcast. So thank you.
Exciting. So we're here with April, and April's going to talk a little bit about her program in Fremont, Nebraska, which is not that far from Omaha. And before we get started, I always like to find out what the weather is in Nebraska in the middle of summer. We're recording this in the middle of summer. So was it hot there, cold there? What is it?
It's hot and humid. Lots of rain, which is not common this time of year, but we've gotten a lot of rain that was needed, and mid-90s, low to mid-90s.
Yeah, that word humid is a 4-letter word that I don't like.
It does take some time to get accustomed to it. It is very heavy and not very fun. So,
and I do know there's 5 letters in humid. I was just kidding. But I don't like humidity. And Carol and I are headed to Jamaica on Saturday for 10 days. And we know it's going to be a little bit on the hot side, a little bit on the humid side. But I can spend the whole day in the pool. So that's a little bit different. So we're excited to have you on. And we've been working together for a little over a year now or so. We've been coaching and we've been getting to know each other. And I just love your attitude and I love your business. I can't wait to learn a little bit more and have you share information with our followers.
Well, thank you.
Could you tell us more about your schools and how you got into the childcare business?
Absolutely. So when I was 22 years old, I was an independent contractor for Child Protective Services. I loved my job. I had earned my independent contractor license with them, which wasn't very common, especially for somebody that hadn't have a previous license with them. So that was a huge accomplishment for me. So I was very proud of that. And I really enjoyed my job. And with that came some struggles with my own children, trying to find childcare. I was actually pretty afraid to put my own children in a childcare center. So I dabbled with some nannies, an in-home provider, not licensed, just looking to make a little extra cash to be a stay-at-home mom. And something would always come up. They would cancel, or it just wasn't a good fit. And it was really a very difficult struggle. And I would pray and pray and pray to please help me find an answer. I can't even tell you how many hours of prayer went into the behind the scenes of this business. So, and then people would just, consistently say, "You're so good with kids. You should open your own center. You should open your own daycare." And I was completely against it. I'm like, that's not my career goal. That is not what I went into school for. I have a job, right? I have a job that I'm very proud of and I get paid very well at. And I would drive by the building that we're in every day for one of my cases. And a for lease sign went up, and it had been an old church building. And finally, I threw in the towel, right? I'm like, all right, Lord, if that's what you wish, just let the pieces fall into place. So I inquired on the building, and the landlord wanted a $6,000 down payment. And I did not have $6,000 as a 22-year-old with 2 kids. And I sold everything I owned and put down the deposit, and I wrote a grant, and it was accepted. So a lot of hard work, right? That took over a year to transpire all of that, and things slowly fell into place. And so I guess it was meant to be, because here we are 18 years later.
Way to pay the price, Amy. Some people,
Yes.
everything want him to hand it to be able to sell things. You risked everything you had for your business. Carol and I have gone all in many times building our businesses. And I just love hearing stories of people like that. And you know what? There's a lot of people that wouldn't do that. They're like, I'm not going to risk anything. And sometimes you have to leave the shore to explore new lands. If Christopher Columbus never left the shores, that we never discovered America. Of course, somebody else would have figured it out. But you have to be able to leave the comfort of your own home to take that risk should you want the rewards of business ownership. So I'm so proud of you. That's an amazing story. What was one of the biggest challenges you think you faced in growing your program?
I think I had a very strong vision of what I wanted our school to look like. And the main component for me was that it was a high quality educational environment, that we were very intentional. We have all of this time with our little children, right? We have all of this time with our students, and they could just be, having a babysitter sit in the corner and very little interaction, and they'll learn, right? They'll learn through play and all of those things. But if we have teachers that are dedicated to that same vision as me, right? They're dedicated to a high quality environment, very intentional with their language with the students and what they provide the students to be able to use during the day. So I feel like my biggest challenge has really been getting that vision to be shared amongst everybody in the building that is providing the care. And I have to say, being in your coaching program has really given me the tools to be able to see that from a different perspective, and to be able to utilize the things that I'm learning during coaching to share with my team. And it's like, finally the light bulb, is going off, and they're sharing slowly in that vision with me. And that changes their attitude as well, because when you have that passion and you have reason for your daily routine, it really does make a difference in, the positive energy in the whole building. So definitely sharing the vision. And the other part would probably be the ability and having the means and the need in the community to be able to scale. And, with COVID and a variety of different things, and the community having very, expensive real estate and little real estate to offer, being able to scale, but being able to see that there's a huge need for additional centers that are providing those high quality environments for children, and not being able to just jump on it and do it tomorrow and provide, taking calls and having to turn them away because they've had a bad experience, or they're finally willing to try a center and not being able to provide that great experience right out of the gate for them. So those are my two probably biggest struggles. There's day-to-day stuff too, right? But for me, those are the biggest ones.
I agree with most of that. I think that everybody has a lot of those struggles. So April, where do you see your business in 10 years?
That is one of the things that I'm actually, I have written on my list to gain direction from during our coaching. Okay. I'll be completely transparent about that. I feel like I'm at a crossroads that I could sell, I could grow, I could, step out of the business and be able to have it operate as it is now, the same size, and have leaders operate it and directors and just be an offsite owner. So I'm really pouring a lot of prayer and time and intentional journaling into that question. So I could, maybe add a couple more locations around here or in some small communities that are really in need, or maybe sell it to somebody that has the same passion and vision as me to be able to continue on that legacy, or just continue operating as is, like I said, and step back and enjoy my time, but continue to own the business as well, which I love it. So it's very hard to let go.
And I love that answer, Amy, or April, sorry. And it's so honest. And I love that. And you know what? Sometimes that changes. You might have a plan this year that changes next year. It evolves over time. And, we set quarterly goals, we set annual goals, we set 5-year goals, 10-year goals, and they're constantly evolving and changing. So we have in our coaching program, the next 2 days, we're going to be in our conference training. And I'm hoping we can get some more clarity on this with you. But because I know you so well, I think you'll see that this is going to change and evolve annually, but at least we'll have some starting point. And you don't even have to have an answer where you want to be in 10 years. You just have to worry about the next quarter. We don't have to have 10 years planned out. We do have to have the next quarter planned out. So
Absolutely.
So that we start with the smaller goals, you could eventually work up to the bigger ones. And you put enough quarters together, and then you eventually have 10 years, and it'll go by quick. 27 years for us. That's a lot of quarters. Yeah, and a lot of quarters. That's for sure. So what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling in their childcare business?
Well, I would definitely say to learn from my mistakes, which is to not be afraid to ask for help or to admit when you are struggling. As a recovering perfectionist, I would say that I was very hesitant to let my guard down, thinking that if I were to reach out to anybody for help, that they would see me as a failure, or I would be not held to that high level that I hold myself to. So I would just, once I was willing to let that guard down and be honest with what I was going through in that phase or that chapter of the school and of my life, it was like a huge relief, right? A huge weight was lifted off of my shoulders to hear that these other professionals or women or business owners or childcare owners were struggling with the same thing. It made me feel like, okay, I'm not a failure, right? I'm sharing this problem with other people too, and it doesn't take the problem away, right? Sometimes we can talk about it, we can come up to, with a great idea together, but it just takes off this huge weight that is unnecessary to carry around. It's like a full-time job and carrying this weight that is really unnecessary if you were just willing to speak up and ask for help. So that would be my number one. The other thing is, don't spend a lot of money on technology because it will phase out. So do your research, because in 25 minutes after you wrote the check, it's probably going to be outdated already. So that would be my second tip.
Good advice. I love that. And I love your humbleness. Being humble is important. And I have a coach, I'm a part of a coaching group. All good coaches have coaches. We try to get better. We know that we don't have all the answers. We try to get better every single day. And the people that don't want to be coached are the people that think they know everything. And those are usually the ones that have the biggest struggles when a recession hits, because they don't know what to do. And by then it's too late. You get a coach when things are good, not when things are bad, to help you get things good. So I love that. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Could you tell our audience how working with Brian through one-on-one coaching helped your business?
Well, this really ties directly into my last answer, that having this group of professionals that truly care about their business and want to do things right. Having that group, it's absolutely priceless for my mindset and for my sanity to have that group of people, but the ideas and the materials and the resources available, that would have taken me years to develop. That would have, I probably wouldn't have even been able to come up with the extensive resources that are available to us in the university. And, not having to recreate the wheel is priceless. I would waste so much time having to come up with, an offer letter or a variety of different things that is right there in the vault for me to access, that I don't even have to reach out to anybody. Somebody's already done it for me, and I can, use it in the way that works for our school. But the mindset of having that accountability and like-minded individuals has truly been something that has kept me going. And that's one of the reasons that, my crossroads includes staying in the business, because I really do enjoy that community, and I never leave our meetings without some new bit of information that I could take with me that will be very, truly beneficial for me right that day, or to help me achieve the goals that I've set, where I would not, I would be having to read an entire book, or, listen to 25 podcasts to maybe come across that information myself. So the speed in which I can communicate and get information from the like-minded business owners in our industry, right? There's no industry that's really very similar that we can get this direct information from. So having that access to that is just incredible. And it has really helped me in my business be able to grow, but also to just have more peace. The one thing I would wish for everybody is to be, at peace in their business and to feel secure. And it really does provide those components to be able to get there.
Thank you so much for that. That was really, I'm humbled by your words, because I've coached you for, close to a year now, and you're one of the best students I have, because you're, there's no question you're a doer and not a talker, and you're not afraid to be humble. You're not afraid to expose your weaknesses, and that's the sign of a great person. And I know you're going to be very successful. And that's why you have been successful. You're going to be even more successful. So what's one business goal you have set for 2023, if you don't mind sharing?
Yes, absolutely. My top goal right now, I'm very passionate about pouring into our teachers and helping them to view this job as their career, right? To become passionate about it, to, keep that passion. So our goal for 2023 is to get, or for 2024, really, we've started the process now, but it'll end in 2024, is to get all of our teachers certified with their CDA, which then our company offers full benefits, paid vacations, paid snow days, paid holidays, bonuses. They'll get a bonus upon completion, and a pay raise, as well as insurance and a variety of other things. So helping them reach that and believe in themselves, not only does that, that will be beneficial to me because that's what I'm very passionate about, but that will have an impact on our children and our students and our families for years to come. And then instead of having, turnover with our teachers having to leave and this be a temporary job until they, are able to go into a career, this will allow them that stability and to be able to stay in a field that they're passionate about and enjoy, but also receive the monetary benefits of it as well and be able to raise their family. So that is my goal for 2023 and going into 2024.
Love it. Great goal.
So
Thank
we
you.
have a mindset question for you today. What is your
Okay.
favorite relaxing activity to do?
You know, I will be the first to admit that this is my weakest area. I'm not a relaxer. I have a very hard time sitting still, very hard time sitting still. But actually, one of my goals has been to be very intentional. And even if it's 5 minutes, just to sit down and do nothing, don't check my emails, don't help anybody, just sit. So I'm working on that. But to relax, I am on the go. So being on the go relaxes me. I love to exercise and garden. My absolute favorite thing besides family and all of the normal answers would be to travel. So I'm very much looking forward to traveling here in September to Jamaica. So traveling has been something that I did not do as a child because we lived a different lifestyle and traveling wasn't a part of that. And so being able to see all areas of the world, whether it's an educational part or if it's just to hang out in the pool in the sun and relax, it's definitely something that is high on my priority list every year to accomplish.
Well, I know now my job is to get you to relax more because you'll become a better mom, better business owner, and a better person. Slow down. And I know one other person from Nebraska who's a lot like you, like the Energizer Bunny. You can't turn them off. So maybe it's the corn there. I don't know. But
I know.
we've got to dial you down just a little bit and get you on the relaxation side. But I'll put it on my goal to help you work on that. And it's something I don't have any problem doing. But I used to be a little bit more like you. The older you get, the more you have to wind down a little bit, just out of necessity. But you're still young, so we'll find some balance for you.
That sounds good. My word of the year was present, right? Instead of rushing everywhere because I crammed 92 things into my calendar, I wanted to be present for those things on my calendar instead of multitasking. But I got to bring that back. I'm not doing very well at that.
We'll get there. It's a work in progress, and we're all works in progress. But we wanted to thank you for coming on, taking your time. You've been a blessing to a lot of people here, sharing your story. And what's the name of your school in Fremont, Nebraska?
Yep, it's Fremont Children's Academy. And this is our 18th year. Next month, we're celebrating our 18th anniversary.
Wow,
Awesome.
long time.
Yep.
Wow, you're only 1/3 behind us. We're 27, so that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Been doing this for 18 years, and you're still loving it.
Yes, absolutely. Challenged. I like a good challenge. So
Well, it's definitely a challenge, our industry, but you're getting through. You got through COVID, and you're still smiling, so that's half the ball game.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you. Can't wait to see you in Jamaica. We're gonna have a lot of fun hanging out there at our conference, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you on your coaching call here in the next couple of weeks. But thanks again for joining us on the Childcare Genius podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
She is so great to talk to.
She's a little firecracker, and what a great story. And I'd hard to believe 17 years she's been doing it. 27 for us, crazy, and still loving what she does, which is amazing. So I absolutely love people in this industry are like unlike any other industry. People who own a dry cleaner, say for 5 years, they're probably just putting in motion. They don't love what they do. But I have met probably 95% of the childcare owners that I have coached or work with love what they do 10, 20, 30 years later. There's nothing like it, no industry like it. And that's why we love the childcare business so much. Just such giving people. Now, if you need help in your childcare business and you're struggling, and if you're a center owner, I can help you. Want to get a free coaching call with me? Just go to childcaregenius.com and under the coaching tab, select I'd like a free coaching call. And you're guaranteed to come away in a call with 2 or 3 action items that you can take action on right away to help you grow your business. Again, it's for center owners only. And I have about 8 or 9 spots on my calendar each month that I devote to helping owners. My pro bono work might give back. So don't delay. If you're struggling in any area and you are a center owner, go on there, reach out. Let me help you out. And I will help your business. I've helped hundreds of people that way. So this concludes episode 51 of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you so much for letting us come and bless your business.
And just a reminder to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.